Because a lot of what we've discussed so far is not readily apparent within the data. Can I really tell in the data that access to care is different in Sturgeon Bay than Prairie du Chien? Maybe. Maybe not, though. Are services identical? Are supported employment services identical in Sturgeon Bay as they are in Prairie du Chien? No. Can I tell that from the data? Do you use the same code for Sturgeon Bay as you do in Prairie du Chien? Yeah. It's the exact same code. And you probably get paid the same fee-for-service rate or a similar one, but there's no way the actuary can tell if they're different. That's why actuarially sound capitation rates have to have more than just data informing the process. Okay, so now we've talked about the universe of people and who actually come through the funnel and get the services. We've begun to array the people, chop, 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 looking at risk associated with them. Then we're going to say, now that I have them all figured out, what services am I going to give them? What's the array of services available to them? The array of services available to them will differ. In Milwaukee, I can probably do a different suite of services than I can get in Sturgeon Bay and Prairie du Chien. Can I tell that from the data? Maybe from the volume of the services. But can I really tell the nuance without getting down and looking at the category of service level information down at the provider's actual financials? Probably not. So one of the data sets that you need to look at, so I talked about at the very opening slide, what are you going to need to know? What are you going to learn when you walk out of here? What data you need to be successful. It can't just be the fee-for-service data. It can't just be the encounter data. Does anybody know what encounter data is? What's encounter data?
Every episode that an individual receives is reported in a report to the department.
Yeah.
And the cost of that service.
You guys ever play charades? Right on the nose. Great definition of encounters. So every time you encounter the healthcare system, a record is generated. That's where the name encounter came from. It was an encounter with the healthcare system. Encounters, however, are very difficult to gather. It's actually one of the most complex and time-consuming things that a health plan does. And so it's not always an accurate measurement of the services that are being rendered. Financial arrangements can make encounter data incomplete or not timely or not accurate. When you ask the actuary, when you use the data to develop the capitation rates, did you adjust for timeliness, completeness, and accuracy? And they should look at you and say, yes, for timeliness, we did an incurred but not reported adjustment. IBNR. So, do you know how long it takes to become an actuary? A credentialed actuary? Credentialed actuary, there's two levels. There's an associate and there's a fellow. An associate, and I'm going to grossly oversimplify this, it's effectively the equivalent of about 5 exams that typically take a person 5 years to pass. A fellow in the Society of Actuaries is roughly 10 exams, again I'm grossly oversimplifying, and 10 years. That's one way. Just like lawyers use the bar to keep people out, you don't want more lawyers, right? So you have the bar. Literally, that's where the origin of the phrase raising and lowering the bar comes from, right? Okay, so actuaries have the exams. Well, the other thing that actuaries use is jargon and completely non-intuitive acronyms like IBNR. Like that rolls off your tongue. So I made an IBNR adjustment. You say that to somebody, they're just going to look at you, they're going to glaze over, and they're going to... Who cares about IBNR adjustment?
Every day.
Every day. You can live or die by IBNR adjustments. Now, do you know what the average margin is for a Medicaid managed care program across the country? It's only about 0.5% to 1%. Do you know what a reasonable IBNR adjustment can be, depending upon the time frame? It can be about 0.5% or 1%. All it takes is one little assumption to adjust the risk of the program, the total dollars that you're estimating, and you can make or break a health plan. And if you make or break a health plan, think about how this flows downhill. Remember what flows downhill? Okay? So when the fecal matter hits the air circulating device, you're left holding the bag, and then ultimately who serves, who pays the price? It's the clients. And let's be honest, the only reason we're doing this is because we want to make the lives of the clients better. So I'm being a bit facetious about this, but the reason we're all in this room and we're talking about this is these are the people who need us to defend their right to the services and do it in the most efficient and effective way. And so this is important stuff, and we have to do it right, because there's literally billions of dollars at stake at the macro level, and there are individuals' access to services at the micro level.